What's up, guys? Mason here from the Crush It team, and we're going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to be reacting to an Ed Mylett video. He did a live speaking gig to kind of launch his new book that he just came out with, The Power of One More, and he did a live event for free. It was a virtual event, and he had a bunch of people in attendance too there. And so I'm going to be reacting to some of the highlights of this event. I love Ed Mylett. I got the privilege of seeing him in person last year down in Orlando, and he's life-changing. And I'm a huge fan of his podcast, so I'm really excited to cover some of the highlights of this live event that he did. So let's dig in.
My dad was an alcoholic, and I had 3 little sisters and an amazing mom that held my family together. And I would have to know at 5 years old as a little boy, when that man came through the front door, which dad was coming through the front door? Was it sober dad? He had a good day, he hadn't been drinking, we're gonna go have dinner, probably go shoot some hoops in the backyard. By the time I was 5 years old, I knew which dad it was. Or when I'm 5 and I'm looking up at my hero, is it drunk dad? Has he been drinking? And I could notice little things.
That's absolutely crazy to think about. What a young age. I've got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. You can probably hear him screaming in the background right now. And he's talking about being 5, right in the middle of both of my kids. And to think about their age being able to pick up or have to pick up on your dad's cues on whether he's intoxicated or not when he comes home. That's absolutely bizarre.
I started to be present. I was reading him. Was his tie a little messed up? How about his hair? How about how he walked? How did his face look? Was it a little red? How did he talk? Did he kind of talk a little slower? Did he slur? In fact, I got so good at it that I could tell by the sound his key made in the lock whether he was sober or not.
Wow. Oh, man, that is absolutely bizarre. Poor little guy. To have to be thinking about the way the key moves in the lock when your dad comes home. I can't imagine the level of trauma that creates. And it's obvious that Ed did an excellent job on using that for good. He's probably one of the most emotionally intelligent people that I've ever listened to, that I've ever followed. And his ability to resonate with his audience is unparalleled. And that, undoubtedly comes from the emotional intelligence that was created from his trauma as a kid, I'm sure.
If it went right in real smooth, pretty good chance we're gonna have a good night. If it didn't, he's coming in. And if it's drunk dad, maybe my sister should go upstairs. And then the second thing would kick in. I'd start to talk. Hey, Daddy. And I'd walk with him. Daddy, I got a 93 on my spelling test. I had a home run at practice today in baseball. How was your day? What went good today? And I would try to talk and communicate to change his state. Turns out 35 years later, 45 years later, I've made hundreds of millions of dollars by being present with people, reading them.
There it is.
And be able to communicate in a way that they feel something and it changes. This was born out of temporary pain.
Yep, there it is. He basically just said what I said a second ago. He used that temporary pain from his childhood, that trauma. And I don't know Ed personally. I'm sure that he's had plenty of hard days with that affecting him, but he's used it for good now. He's used that emotional intelligence that was created to actually connect with people and help change people for good.
Temporary tragedy, because if he was drunk, my dad would walk over and I'd try to get him away from this cabinet, because there was this cabinet, and this cabinet was all his booze. And if I couldn't get him away from that cabinet, I know right now he's going to open that thing up. There's all the stuff he likes, but his favorite was Beefeater's gin. And I'd get out there, I said, Dad, and I'd try to, and he wouldn't. He'd pour his drink, boom, and he'd drink about 6 or 8 of them right when he'd get home. Now I know we really need to change things.
Man, that's tough.
And that's what I live with, but it built all the skills I have. And many of you would say to me, wow, what a neglected childhood you had.
Yeah.
I had a loving family. But certainly that was neglect.
Yeah, this is tough, because I've heard Ed talk about how much he loves his dad and how his dad was his best friend. and he's very careful to not, like degrade his family in the way that he was raised. That's hard to have to sort out your emotions from this like extremely traumatic experience when you were a kid. Trying to stop your dad from drinking, or trying to determine whether or not he's drunk when he comes home when you're only 5 years old, and still be thankful for the loving part of the family that you had.
There's all kinds of child neglect. I'm going to hit you between the eyes right now. Those of you that are parents. There's neglect if there's drug or alcohol. There's some form of neglect when there's a divorce, I suppose. Maybe we don't tell our children we love them enough. There is a global, insidious, epidemic, pandemic of child neglect going on. And it's subtle. And it's a parent who is not pursuing their potential and their dreams.
Holy moly. Wow. We are going to have to back that up and hit that again.
Pandemic of child neglect going on. And it's subtle. And it's a parent who is not pursuing their potential and their dreams.
He said there's a global epidemic of child neglect going on, and it's a parent who will not pursue their dreams. I've never heard anyone refer to that as child neglect before. That is really intriguing.
And they're neglecting their child when they do it. If you're listening to this, I know that hits home, but most things children get are caught, not taught. They catch it. And if they start to catch it, it's okay to settle. It's okay to say, sweetheart, you can be anything you want. At some point, they get to an age where they go, well, mama, why aren't you?
I was literally talking about this with my wife the other day. Oh, man, how you're effectively lying to your kids when you tell them they can be whatever they want to be when they grow up, and you quit chasing your dreams when you were 22.
Why aren't you going for it? Why aren't you happier? My book is called The Ultimate Guide to Happiness and Success. Why isn't mama happier? They see you in the car. They see you getting ready in the morning. They know. And it's neglectful of you if you're not pursuing your happiness, pursuing your potential, pursuing your dream. You're neglecting that child.
Dude, I love the passion in his voice when he gets like that raspy voice. It's so hardcore. I grew up in a Baptist preacher's home, and so like it's very reminiscent of like a preacher preaching right now. It's hardcore.
You got to get after it. So that was the first time I learned this. And then my life changed. I'm driving in the car one day with my dad. I'm almost turning 15. I'd never seen my dad cry before, ever. And I didn't see him cry after this day. Well, we're driving to a baseball game, and as my dad's driving, he's crying, which is really weird because my dad was a dude. Like, I've seen my dad in scraps, side of the freeway, banging on a guy. Angel game, banging on a guy.
I haven't seen pictures of his dad when he was young, but if he was as big as Ed right now, I would not want to be on the receiving end of that.
Seen him come out of church one Sunday, drop a guy. You think I'm kidding? Come out of St. Dennis Catholic Church on a Sunday. Just prayed, just took communion.
Amen.
We get in this Datsun B210 hatchback, and we had stayed in the donut line. I saw him talking to some guy in the donut line. I'm like, all right, that didn't look good, but it's church. My dad loops around the church. It's raining. It's misty out. My sister's here, so she can confirm this story. And I watch my dad roll the window down on his Datsun and look out and wave the guy over. And the guy's like, and the guy walks over from inside my dad's vehicle in front of the church. He grabs the guy, goes, boom, headbutts this man. Guy falls to the ground, and we just drive off like, Hail Mary, our Father.
That's hilarious.
That was my dad. So to see this same man crying, driving me. That man never showed up again after this day. A gentle man showed up. This talk is very hard for me. A kind man. A much more powerful man. Real men are kind.
Yeah, that's true. We recorded an episode of the podcast at the Knoxville Man Show. It's been a couple months now, and we talked about this, how real men are not it's not just beards and bluster and rough toxicity. It's kindness and gentleness and meekness that actually defines real manhood.
Real men are gentle.
Mm-hmm.
They're so strong they don't have to show you. And we're driving, and he's crying, and he pulls over, and he's still not looking at me. I'm looking at my daddy, and he goes, Eddie, I'm going to go away, and I'm going to, listen to this word, I'm going to try to quit drinking one more time. And he looks at me and goes, I'm going to give it one more try. I have a chapter in my book called One More Try. And I go, Dad, what would be any different this time? You tried a bunch of times. He goes, I'm going to lose you and your sisters. Your mom's taking my family from me. And you and your sisters deserve a dad you can be proud of. Your mom's amazing. She deserves a husband she can respect.
That's a, man, those are words of a man that's reached the end of his rope. That's tough. And props to his dad, because it takes a lot of humility to say something like that and to admit something like that.
So I'm going to give it one more try. I want you to get the lesson here. My dad made the most dramatic change of his life from a place of love. All great decisions, all long-lasting change comes from love, loving for someone else, doing so. You'll do anything for the people you love and your dreams. You always go, I don't know, I'm not motivated, I don't know my passion. Look real close. People you love and your dreams.
That's
my
good.
dad did it because he loved our family. It wasn't some big dream to be sober. He loved his family. And he went away, and when he came back, he was not drinking. I said, Daddy, are you never going to drink again? Listen to what he said to me. He said, I don't know. I know I'm not going to drink for one more day, Eddie, at a time.
Chills.
And that
man.
went 35
Chills.
more years. Do you know how many times in business and in relationships I've wanted to quit? And I think I got to make something permanent. Everyone says, never quit. Hey, man, that's a long decision. You know what I've done a bunch of times? I'm just not quitting for today.
Man, that's good. That is good. It feels so ominous to make a long-term decision to quit something or to do something. That one more time, one more day. Holy moly. Yeah, he's on point here.
Just one more day, I'm not quitting. One more day, I'm not quitting. And that started the change of my life. And I've looked, go ahead, you can applaud for my dad. And I tell you all this because these lessons in the book, I show you how to reprogram your RAS. I show you how to manage your time and bend and manipulate time. It's very detailed, but if you don't know why you're getting the book, why you're doing it, it's pointless. Here's the most amazing thing. I wrote the book. I'm done with it. It's published. Thousands of copies have been bought already. I've done a bunch of interviews for the book. And I woke up 3 weeks ago in the middle of the night, me crying. And something dawned on me, and if you get anything out of today, I want you to listen to what I'm about to say to you. Remember, most people, even in this room, online, think, yeah, that's good, but that's not me. You don't know my track record, man. I've already tried like 14 things that didn't work. Or I've never really been that motivated. Or you don't know this thing I'm ashamed of. I've got this divorce. I've got this bankruptcy. I got some stuff, if you really knew, man, you'd know. You don't know how I think. You don't know how average I've been. I'm disqualified. Most human beings think their humanity and their life experience is what disqualifies them.
True.
The very opposite is true.
Yep.
If you're going to reach other people, I reach millions of people because I'm not perfect. Because I come from a family like this. Listen to this.
Man,
I wake
that's
up.
good stuff.
I go, my gosh. This never dawned on me. The decision that changed my life to put me here, everybody, is my dad stopped drinking.
Wow.
For his family. I probably am not here had I not watched those examples and caught it. Except it just occurred to me after I wrote the book, but I want to tell you this. I'm crying. 3:15 in the morning. Someone help Daddy. Someone helped my dad. I don't know who this precious person is. Some precious human being. When my dad was losing his family on his knees, darkest moment of his life, maybe considering taking his own life, some human being came forward and said, I'll help you.
I don't know if you can see the hair standing up in my arm, but holy crap. That gave me chills.
Isn't that not amazing that this person has no idea that that one decision changed Max and Bella's life and my future grandchildren's life and millions of people's lives? The ripple effect of that one decision, just like the bad decision in Texas, the ripple, this ripple's ridden waves of millions of people, even today, because this person had the guts to step up and go, I may not be. See, here's the deal. God does not call the qualified. He qualifies the called. This person.
I love that quote. Such a good quote.
This person rose up in this moment, but that's not the most mind-blowing thing. What qualified them? The thing they were the most ashamed of. They were a drug addict. They were an alcoholic. Little did they know the temporary pain they put themselves and other people through. On the other side of it, they would meet their other self and then have my dad meet his other self.
This is so true. And I think it's really important that that you use every single experience that you've been through in your life. You never know who you're going to encounter, what situations you're going to be a part of that require the experiences that you have, whether those are negative experiences or positive experiences. The fact that they're your experiences is what makes it unique.
This person, little they know, when they were driving and drinking and lying to their family or stealing money to get drugs, God was using that experience they thought disqualified them to prep them for the most important moment in my father's life.
Preach.
And in mine. Don't discount your experience. Don't discount your mistakes. These are the things that connect you with people. When you rise up, can I get an amen on that? Say
amen.
Yes.
Preach on, brother.
That's what qualifies you. You connect human to human. Perfect people don't help or imperfect people. Imperfect sinners help imperfect sinners in life.
We just may put up a tent and just have camp meeting right here with Brother Ed Mylett.
You can reach out and help somebody, but you gotta have the courage to take the step. You're not disqualified. You're not invisible, but you gotta have the guts to make the decision. You gotta get clear on what you want. You got to get this part of your brain that I teach in the book called the reticular activating system working for you. The RAS is in your prefrontal cortex. It's the filter that reveals everything you believe to be true about you in your life. It proves you to be true. It also keeps you sane, so that's why you don't feel the blood in your right ear right now. You're not conscious, or you go crazy if you were aware of anything. So I call it the matrix. I call it the matrix. It slows things down for you. Tom Brady's matrix, when he's pre-snap, calls the right audible, finds the open receiver. The filter finds the open one. The rookie quarterback who struggles, they call back, they find the covered one. That's the difference between the exact same setup, two different filters. Same with success. I'll prove it to you. I just bought a Tesla.
Weird flex, but okay.
I like what Musk is doing. I have no idea what he's really doing, but I kind of dig what the guy's up to, right?
So do I.
He probably needs to come on my show so I can actually get it out of him, right? So, but I bought this Tesla. I didn't really want one, I'm not gonna lie to you. But I buy this Tesla, it's there the next day. Okay. I'm driving everyone crazy. I'm driving, I'm like, hey, red Tesla, white Tesla, 3 lanes over, other side of the road. Hey, black Tesla going that way. My wife's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I go, babe, here's the crazy thing. Those Teslas were always there and I never saw them.
Yeah, I've experienced that. You buy a new car and then all of a sudden you realize everybody's got that exact same car.
Now they're important to me. I see them everywhere. The key thing in life is this decision, those emotions, those thoughts, those meetings you need to have to change your life that you're one more from have to become your Teslas. And I'll show you how to do it in the...
Oh, that's good stuff. Okay. So he's talking about how, like, when you buy a car, it becomes important to you, and you start noticing everybody else that has the same car. But if you make the things like important meetings or the opportunities, put that in the place of your new car, then you're going to start seeing other opportunities in those other meetings or whatever it is. Wow.
The book. Just like one guy finds the covered receiver and misses the sale, the other woman sees the open receiver and gets the sale. Here's the conversation for the qualified person.
Mind-blowing.
Here's the person in the room or sees the person in the room who's their soulmate instead of missing them. These things change our life. So in the book, I go very deep on these things and I want you to find them. So
I just noticed all the little emojis flying around on the screen behind him, which is pretty cool.
So I'll give you about another one more. This is the part of the talk I'm only doing to serve you.
Thumbs up.
Because it breaks my heart to give it. My best friend is my dad. I remember vividly one time walking on the beach with my now wife. We were in high school. And we'd walk on this beach. I go, hey, I'm going to get us one of these beach houses someday. I'm going to get us one of these houses. And she go, you are? And I'm like, 100% yes. And I go home, I go, Dad, how do you get these beach houses? Who are these flipping people? And my old man would go, Eddie, I have no idea. I've literally never met someone who lives on the end of the earth, the ocean. I don't know who they are. They probably inherited it all. I really believe that. And this other little thing in my family was like, and if they're that rich, they probably screwed some people over.
Yeah, we've talked about that before on the podcast. If you have money, you must have cheated your way there. You must have screwed somebody over to get it.
And as I became more financially successful, I know that that's not true.
Exactly.
But here's what I figured out. When you see a family that's super happy or super successful or both, and
it's usually jealousy, I think, that drives that mentality. Covetousness, I think, is what the Bible calls it. You wish you had what somebody else had. So if you can't have it, then you don't want them to have it. So you tear them down, from their character. They must have cheated somebody to get there.
They're different things. At one point back in their lineage, they weren't. And then Neo, I like the Matrix example. You know what Neo's called in the Matrix? The One. And in every family, there's a Neo. There's the one that eventually shows up in a family and changes the whole family forever. They rise up and they change it all. The Myletts don't get treated like they used to anymore. The world doesn't have their thumb on the Mylett family anymore. We think bigger. We think positive. We're givers now. My nieces, my nephews, my children don't think anything like I did as a kid because I'm the damn one. And in your family...
Oh, man, that was super hardcore. We're going to back that up.
My nieces, my nephews, my children don't think anything like I did as a kid because I'm the damn one. And in your family, you could be the one.
Wow. Yeah, that one gave me like the tingles down my spine, man. That is absolutely, that is legacy stuff. That's creating legacy. One of my favorite books of all time is The Legacy Journey by Dave Ramsey. And it's essentially talking about how to be the one, how to change the direction of your family tree. When I read that book, I actually got on Ancestry. I did all the ancestry stuff, took the DNA test, gave the government all of my records or whatever the heck goes on there. But I explored all of these ancestors in my family tree just to see, and there's nothing, really grand or glorious there, and nothing that bad. I did have like a 5th great grandmother that got hung for killing her husband or something, but just seeing that, I didn't know, seeing my great great grandfather, seeing his name and not knowing it. I didn't know his name until I looked it up myself on Ancestry. He had no real impact on me, or his father. No real impact on our family tree. They were tenant farmers. On the federal census, some of them couldn't even read or write, and it was just it was humbling to see that. So, to hear him talking about becoming the one, the one that changed. I want my grandkids, my great grandkids, my great great grandkids, to think about Grandpa Mason and be thankful, that he stepped up to the plate to change the family tree.
And the very fact that you think you're not the one means you probably are. Means you probably are. And you got to get up and start fighting. Get it because I wished for it or dreamed.
Hold on.
Kid, because I'm the damn one. And in your family, you could be the one. And the very fact that you think you're not the one means you probably are.
Oh, man, the fact that you think you're not the one means that you probably are, because you're thinking about it. You're in that mindset. Mindsets. Shout out to the first episode of the Crush It podcast ever.
Means you probably are. And you got to get up and start fighting. Get it because I wished for it or dreamed for it. I fought for that. I fought for it. And I do the things in my book that I teach you to be the one. And your family tree will never be the same again when you rise up and become the one. And it's not too late. And if you think you already did it, there's a bunch of levels past this one.